Hi friends, it's Kelly with Rowena May Inspired. Today we're going to do a cute little craft using this wooden trivet that I got from an estate sale. I'm using Dixie Belle paint and the color in the navy. And I'm not going to give it a full coverage, but I am going to paint on the front and the back. You can kind of see the sides don't get fully covered. I went ahead and dried it up, and now I'm taking my gator sander and sanding off a little bit of that to distress it. We'll set that aside. Now I have one of these wooden frames from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going in with some silk paint that's all-in-one mineral paint, and the color is Endless Shore. So we're going to go ahead and just paint the front of the frame. I give it 2 coats just to get a good coverage. It's an off-white. Because it has the primer built into it, it covers pretty good. So for the center of that, I took some of this corrugated cardboard. Actually, it's cardboard that I ripped the front off, and I'm just going to go over it with that same paint. I'm not going to fully cover it. Again, I like that distressed look. We'll dry that up. And then I'll go in with some Chalk Teak Dark Paste Wax and a wax brush, and I just go around and just distress the edges of the frame and the cardboard. So now I'm going to take my glue gun and we're going to go all the way around the center there, put some glue on there, and then add the cardboard onto the center. You're just going to want to hold it in place just for a few seconds just to make sure you get it good and adhered. And then we're going to take another little piece of cardboard, and you can see it's like a triangle, so you can probably guess by now we're making a snowman. It's what I love to make. We're using Folk Art matte paint in the color Pueblo. It's my favorite orange. I'm going to dry that up. And then I'm going to take some of my buttons from my button stash, because y'all give me a hard time about hoarding buttons. So I'm trying to show you I use buttons all the time. So I'm just kind of looking for placement there. I'm going to put the nose on first, kind of put it on up on an angle, and then I'll place the eyes. When you're using this corrugated cardboard, you got to kind of place it so you get your eyes kind of, I mean, you could make them wonky, because you know we like wonky here, but the buttons for the mouth are a little small, so you got to kind of place them just right to get them to stand up, not fall into those little cracks. So now I'm going to take some Jubilee ticking material. I just looped it right through one of those little holes, and I'm going to just put a little glue there to hold it down, because we're going to make this into the scarf for the snowman. I'm going to just hold it down right there, and then I'm going to do a little bit more, just glue it down in maybe 2 more spots, and then just come across so it holds it in place. And we'll just go ahead and tie it up. And then I'll trim off the excess. So I'm just looking at placement for greenery. I put a little greenery in here just to add a little something to that. Scarf, bow, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to figure out how to get this baby to stay on here. This is turning out so cute. So I decided to flip it over, and I used my friction pen and just kind of put some lines down so we could kind of figure out where the glue and the lines for the trivet line up. The lines, the wood, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, it's all glued on. Now I'm going to take some berries. I'm going to put 2 little clumps of berries on both sides of that little knot we made for our bow. Get those tucked in on both sides. And then in the center, I'm just going to take one of my rusty bells. This is actually one I rusted up. It's not fully covered. You can still see a little bit of that shininess. So for the hanger, I took another piece of this ticking material from Jubilee Fabrics. I just tied a knot at the top. I thought, well, this would be cute, just tie it in there. So I originally thought it would be really cute to tie it together like this, you know, and then tie it again. But then I ended up taking it apart and retying it in the middle, because it wasn't really straight. You might be able to see here it's a little bit off a little bit. So I did change it, but it turned out really cute. So now I'm going to take one of these little tags, and I'm going to use the word Frosty, and I'm using Distress ink from Tim Holtz in the color Brush Corduroy, and I'm just going to put that tag going down. So I'm going to trim the tag, so it's it's a pretty big wide tag, but I do trim it down. I'm going to use my my paper cutter and trim it down to the size I want. So I just figure out how I want it, and there you go. You can see I kind of did it, give it I cut off the round parts of the tag. Now I'm just gonna kind of mess with it and get it a little pliable, just kind of more rustic. I'm gonna take the ink around the edges to grunge it up a little bit. I do dry it, and then I'm just gonna hot glue it kind of right underneath where the bell is sticking out there. And that's it, you guys. I think this turned out so cute. I just might continue doing snowman crafts for a while, just because it's going to be winter here in Michigan for a long time, and you're always good for next year, right? You guys, I hope you enjoyed this craft, and if you did, please hit like, share, and follow Rowena May Inspired. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.